Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today, I bring you a new concealer from the drugstore. This is Catrice's True Skin High Coverage Concealer. It retails for $7 US, and you can find them in 15 different shades, which it's not a lot. I mean, I think it's a lot for Catrice because they usually don't have such a huge shade range, but it's still, it's not a lot. Anyway, now I really love the Catrice One Drop Concealer. That has stayed in my top drawer for a while, like for a long time now, since I've reviewed it. I also really like their Liquid Camouflage Concealer. The only reason why I don't reach for that one as much is because it's heavily scented, at least in my opinion. So I'm excited to test this out because I really love those. Will I love this one? Hopefully. Now, as far as the coverage, it doesn't state exactly what kind of coverage you're gonna get with this. It just says that it's going to be a long-lasting concealer with high coverage. So high for me means full, but my definition of full may not be their definition of full, which may not be your definition of full. So we're just gonna test it out, see what we get. It's also supposed to be lightweight with a natural finish. It's also made with hyaluronic acid, which is going to help keep the skin nice and moisturized. It melts into the skin without settling into fine lines. We'll see about that. It's supposed to cover dark circles, blemishes, redness, 18-hour hydration. It's waterproof, suitable for normal to dry skin types. It's also vegan. There's no animal testing with this. Paraben-free, alcohol-free, and oil-free. It all sounds great. It all sounds great. All right, so these are the two shades that I have. This one, of course, it's a bit too deep for me. This one was Neutral Fudge, and this one over here is a bit too light for me, which is Neutral Biscuit. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is mix the two. So I'm taking a little bit of the deeper shade, mixing it into the lighter shade, and that's what I'm getting. So yes, I think I am gonna mix them. I'm gonna mix a little bit of this into this, and hopefully it doesn't look awful underneath the eyes. So per usual, I am going to be testing this out with and without a color corrector underneath, and the one that I am choosing to use for today is my NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. This has really been the color corrector that I've been reaching for every single time. This one's in the shade medium, so I'll be wearing this underneath the concealer over here, and I will just be wearing the concealer over here, see how much coverage we are able to achieve both with and without a color corrector. Some concealers have surprised me, and some of them don't need a color corrector in order to get nice full coverage and really conceal the under eye area. But of course, more often than not, you do need it. If you have dark circles, you're gonna need a corrector for the under eye area. So applying the corrector over here before moving on to foundation and concealer. So let me take care of the foundation now that I've color corrected, and I'll be right back. All right, foundation is on, corrector is ready to go. Let's apply some of this concealer. Like I said, I'm mixing Neutral Biscuit and what is this? Neutral Fudge. Just adding a little bit of the Neutral Fudge into Neutral Biscuit because I also don't want to make it too deep, because that won't look right either. But if I leave it too light, it's gonna look gray underneath the eyes, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna apply a little bit of this and then mix in a little bit of this shade. And I'm taking my Deluxe Crease brush in order to blend it out. Let's see what this looks like. I like to keep my concealers further down, so I don't like bringing them all the way up to the lash line like I used to, because I feel like that definitely helps against settling, applying too much underneath the eyes when you don't need it. All right, that's what it looks like. I feel like I could use perhaps a little tiny bit more right there, just tiny amount. So I'm gonna apply a small amount of this and a tinier amount of this and blend it out. And you know what? Neutral Fudge seems to work as a color correcting shade too. All right, so one side done. I'd say that's pretty concealed, right? Now let's move on to the left side. So again, applying the lighter shade first and then a little bit of the deeper shade on top. All right, so there is the one layer. I'm kind of tempted to build it up over here as well. I'm gonna build it up a little bit, just like I did on this side, right here and right there. I'm actually applying a little bit more of the deeper shade because as you can see, it's looking a little gray, which I do not like. So I'm thinking that I need to deepen this just a tiny bit more to get rid of that gray cast. All right, so that definitely helped. And now I feel like I'm getting similar coverage. I am gonna set this though, because even though it states that it's not supposed to settle into fine lines, I feel it definitely is settling even here. Like you can clearly see it's settling into my fine lines. So we are going to set this very lightly though. I don't want to overdo it. Now I'm gonna set this side with my trusty Pat McGrath under eye, what is this? Blurring under eye powder. I always forget the name of this. This one's in the shade medium. I'm gonna set that, I'm gonna set this with this. And over here, I'm actually going to use the mineral loose powder that I purchased from Catrice and see how that works, because I'm assuming that this line is meant to go together, right? One can easily assume that by the name, True Skin, True Skin. I'm gonna set the right side first, just grabbing a little bit of my Pat McGrath powder with my soft blend brush. This one's the number 50 brush from Sigma. I love it for the under eye area. It's like, it just fits perfectly. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that powder and set over here. So I'm taking a little bit of this mineral powder, I'm pouring it into the lid, and I'm gonna grab it with this brush, and that is how I'm going to set the left side, which I need to blend out again because look, definitely settling, okay? All right, so let's set this before it continues to settle some more. So just taking some of that powder with the same brush and setting this side. All right, so there it is, very lightly set. Personally, I like my combination better. I feel like it is concealing a bit more than the side that I only use the Catrice products on, but it is concealing well. Not full coverage in my opinion, even though we did build it up. Not full coverage, but pretty high coverage. So I guess their statement's true. It's high coverage. That's how they get out of it, I think. Anyway, let me zoom you guys in so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after initial application. All right, so this is the under eye area. I feel like this powder, this loose powder, it made it look a little dry. What do you guys think? Also, as you can clearly see, I'm getting better coverage over here, not as full over here. And yeah, this is what we're starting off with. All right, so now let me finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, ready to continue on with my day. So far, a very obvious difference between the two sides. I prefer this one, but we'll see how it wears. It is currently 12:08 in the afternoon. I do plan, like usual, to come back halfway through the day in order to show you guys close-ups under natural lighting, see what the concealer's doing, see how it's holding up, and yeah, I'll see you guys back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. All right, I'm back for a quick midday check-in. It is 5:17, so I've had this on for a good 5 hours now. This is the under eye area up close. This is the color corrected side and the non-color corrected side. As you can clearly see, I am getting more coverage over here than I am over here. However, I think both, now, I was gonna say both sides look the same, but I think this might look a little bit dry to me. Just a little bit. But yeah, still looking okay. I mean, it's still wearable. It's not horrible. I've worn worse, trust me. Other than it looking a little bit dry, we're okay. So I'm gonna continue to wear this for another 3 hours before calling it a day. So I'll see you back in a few hours for my final check-in and my final thoughts on this new concealer. All right, so I am back for my final check-in. It is finally the end of the day. I need to go jump in the shower and just relax. But of course, before I do, I had to come back and show you guys what we're ending the day with. It is currently 7:48, which means that I've had this concealer on now for almost a solid 8 hours. Now, let me zoom you guys in so that you can get an up-close and personal look underneath the eyes after wearing this concealer the entire day. All right, so this is the under eye area. I do feel that we ended the day with more coverage over on the color corrected side than we did on this side that I did not color correct. I feel like overall, the concealer did wear off a little bit from both under eye areas, not just one. And is it just me, or does this look too dry to be called hydrating? Right? It's a little too dry. All right, so there you have it. That's the under eye area after wearing this for an entire day. I can safely say that this is not my most favorite concealer from Catrice. I still prefer the other two. This one just looks a little dry. For it being a hydrating concealer, I thought that if anything, it was gonna move around on me because it's been the theme around here that it is hot, it is humid, it is wet. We've been getting a lot of rain, and of course it's been hot. So it's just, you know, humid all around all the time. So I did think that perhaps this might move around because it's supposed to be a more hydrating formula, but instead it looks a little bit dry. Not sure what's making it look dry. I'm thinking perhaps the mineral loose powder, but I could only assume that this True Skin mineral loose powder is meant to go with the Catrice True Skin high coverage concealer and like their True Skin hydrating foundation. I can only assume that this is all meant to go together. So that is why I wasn't expecting for this to look dry, but it does. I lost coverage. I prefer the way that I wore it over here. I prefer the way that it looks over here. But overall, just not my most favorite Catrice concealer. That's for sure. If you want something that's gonna last all day, that's gonna be super high in coverage, definitely look into their One Drop concealer. That one is by far superior. I've tried worse concealers on my channel. Trust me, this isn't as bad as it can get, but it's just not that great. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this product review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.